Xfinity Series live for Talladega Superspeedway.
We have 56 laps here. It's going to be a pretty good showdown between the final two drivers for the championship, between the 78 and 5.
Just 2 drivers, but we have 12 racers on board here at Talladega. The great unknown is how will the draft play out, and of course, will you be the maker in control of your own destiny here?
We also have those 2 championship contenders also have to watch out for the big one straight. So.
It's not a question of if they're Damien, but when. We always see it here happen. It usually does. I am excited here to get this race. Oh my goodness, I am excited to see what these guys and girls have in store for us here today. Santel and Josh Fox, those are our 2, what would you call them?
Championship contenders.
Yeah, exactly. The final 2
the
here.
The one-on-one race.
Who finishes ahead of who? Did they already start? Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, guys. I just got back in, so. Looks like I'm not even sure who was on the pole.
Me neither. Neither was I. But it looks like the 01 is your race leader as they come across the finish line.
That'll be the first time up to speed here. So green flag is out. The car numbers that we are following, the 78, that is Josh, and then the what number is Chantel?
Number 5, the Northland number 5.
All right.
It looks like to be sitting in 3rd or 4th right now. Sitting in 4th behind the 20 of Dial. Hopefully he's looking for a good rebound here this week after a tough race at ISM after being very dominant 2 weeks ago at Dover. So he's looking for a rebound here.
Look like the 8 went up high with the 20 car. So right now as they run, 5 of Santel would be your winner here, and it is winner takes all. There will be no stage points. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, no stage points will be awarded for any drivers. It's down to the final 2. She has to beat the 78 in order to win the championship here today.
We will be running 3 stages though. I believe the first one, these guys are running ×2 tire wear, so I don't believe they'll need to make a green flag pit stop. Oh, we got a car in the wall way behind them.
Wonder what happened there.
And we have a look for the lead. Chantel up front. Points at Michael Annette Chevrolet. You know, that might be a good omen there. Michael Annette did win his first ever Xfinity Series race. Oh, contact! Jeez, below the yellow line, the 4 car right there bobbles. Wow, that's something that you don't want to have happen there. The 4 car subbed the 78 car below the yellow line. 78 had to give. And Josh almost went for a wild ride on the apron.
Let's see if NASCAR is going to review that as being shoved under the line for any penalties. I don't believe so, but...
That is true. NASCAR, it is within their discretion. They can fine you and black flag you, make you go down pit road as the outside line begins to work right here.
They got a 3-car battle against 2, so it looks like they're going to have more power. Dial's going to drop to the bottom and maybe help the bottom 2 get somewhere because the top line didn't seem to be going anywhere.
Well, with 3 cars up top, that should work. But right now, the 20 car, when it bailed out, that really messed up the inside momentum line. And you see the 78 and the 8 car both have to fall to the tail end of this line. Wow, the 78 car loose off the corner of the 20. Dial subbed out of line.
And he's going to be dropped to the back of this field as Pottles is continuing to lead this field. Turns 1 and 2.
The 5 car breakaway at the front of the field. 78 car running in the 3rd position. The 8 car, his teammate, trying to give him a little bit of a shove and a push. But that actually shoved the 8 car outside of line. Now you see the 78 slice back to the bottom of the racetrack.
Yes, very dicey here in the front, between the front 5. But as I was saying earlier, it's the 5 car. She's looking very strong here after a good, strong, solid run at ISM last week. Very dominant, yes, last week in that 5 car. Looking to keep that up this week.
Santel has been in this position before. She did not win the championship here for her league there. I believe it was the Metal and Metal Racing League was in contention there, had a dominant car that day. Unfortunately, Dial was able to get around her, and on that final stage, she just was not able to put that car into victory lane and score a championship. I believe that weighs heavy on her mind here tonight. I don't think she'll make the same mistake twice. If you're going to get this championship, you're going to have to go through her.
Oh yeah, big time. But it looks like Dial and the 78 are working together very strong here on the outside, making a two-lane track here.
Right now, the 5 car, the best friend for the 5 seems to be that 4 car, and I actually don't have a live stream up. So how many laps do we have, and are we going
we have 11
to have
laps
here in stage 1?
On about 7 laps. We're about to complete lap 7.
So 4 to go?
Yes.
4 to go. Keep in mind, wow, 8 car looked underneath. Holding a line here at Talladega is so important. I can't tell you here at a public lobby, you see the 4 car kind of bobble and weave, how frustrating it can be to have a guy in front of you there kind of bob and weave, because you can hook bumpers, and that could send you below the yellow line. It could send you back out into traffic. It could really cause a problem right now. I don't believe the Ada Kyle is very happy with the 4 car. It looks like that 4 car very unsettled there on the bottom of the racetrack, even though he's helping Chantel be pushed to the lead.
Very true, but and an also thing is, with one little mistake like that on the bottom of the racetrack, it could shoot you back across the track into traffic and cause the big one. And that's another thing these drivers don't want to see.
Everyone running on the bottom of the racetrack, haven't seen that outside line really play any dividends as of late, but we do know if 3 cars working together can all work well with one another, they can make that outside line work. And I believe we'll see that come into play late in this race, but right now, stakes are kind of low. They just need to get to the end right now. Chantel, though, you kind of want to maybe put an exclamation point on your mark to the championship, and she continues to lead the most laps here today.
Yes, Dial's maybe looking to get some help on the outside. Still not going to get it. I think he's just going to pull back in the line. He had a run down off turn number 2 and just didn't have anybody there to help him, so the run just died out on him.
Got to be a lonely feeling in the top 5 there. 4 Chevrolets, only 1 Toyota. Dial representing that manufacturer there at the bottom of the top 5.
Yeah, it's got to be tough for him and his team, but they're very strong. I think they can get the right adjustments for that 20 car and get him out front.
I do see these guys are antsy. I don't believe they're just going to ride along in line. I think they're going to try and make a move. You see the 78 car. Oh, no. Bobbled right there. The 8 car is going to fill that spot. And now you have teammates side by side. He lets them back in.
Whew. That was a tight squeeze there.
It was. And you see to the bottom of the racetrack, the 8 car once again. Don't know if these teammates are working well with one another. There seems to be a lot of letting go. And
there.
Yeah.
But as we said,
meanwhile, the Ford Motorsport continuing to push. 2 car battle up front. They separated themselves a little bit. 2 laps to go in stage 1. Pit strategy not going to be much of a factor here tonight, I don't believe. Do you think there, Damon? Oh, contact! The 4 car Motorsport off the bumper. The 8 car got tapped out of turn 2. Motorsport sent below the yellow line. That's going to be bad news for Chantel. Look at the run to the outside. Here comes the 78, pushed by the 8 car.
Here comes
Dial comes to the aid of Chantel.
We still have
Motorsport.
1 more lap after this.
78 clears the 5 car Chantel. You don't want to leave your teammate hanging, but in that chance, you have to there.
Especially when you're fighting for this championship, so he's got to make any drastic move like that to do that.
Motorsport hanging on to the tail end. They'll face the white flag of stage 1 this time by to the outside. Dial with the run. Here comes the Ada Kyle trying to make something happen. Now this is interesting. Chantel now pushes her competitor. Looking to the outside.
She's going to wait for the 20. The 20 is going to have a great run coming off of turn number 2, so they should fly on past the 78 here down the backstretch.
8 car going to come to the aid of the 78, but will that be enough? Because the run on the 20 and the 5.
Outside, here they come. They're going to be dead even through 3 and 4.
Door to door, almost side by side into turn number 3. 78 has the preferred groove out of turn 4. I don't think Chantel and Dial can make it up on that outside line.
Let's see if they got enough time. They got come through the triangle, maybe a little slide draft. Here they come. And it looks like the 78's going to get it. Yes, Yes, he's going to get your stage 1 win. I think the 8 got it. That was hard to tell.
I believe the 78 did get that stage win there. He pulled to the outside to try and make that cross or cut that distance in half to the stripe. But wow, what a move. And that all began after the Ford Motorsport got shoved out of line, perhaps off the bumper of Kyle.
NASCAR confirms the 78 was your stage 1 winner. Pottles
didn't even get a chance to look at the outside, the rest of the pack, and see where they finished. We have a couple of other cars still in this race.
They were really hoping for this stage caution to come so they could bunch back up, and everybody's going to probably take some fuel and tires and make some adjustments they need to change and get those cars back out on the track and try to fight for a win.
You got a chance to catch your breath. Right now, we already mentioned at the top of the broadcast, stage points don't mean anything. It is winner takes all here in the event, the 78 or the 5, whoever finishes ahead of who. But right now, if you're that 78 car, you got to be feeling pretty good.
Oh yeah, since you're out in front of your competitor who sits in 3rd behind you after a strong stage 1. She dropped back to the 3rd spot with a bit of a mess up between the 4 car, and well, it was just not going good at the end of the stage for her. But as the field comes through tri-oval to the Geico restart zone, we're going to have a green flag here in Talladega. We're back underway.
Chantel starting right behind that 78 car. Reminder, you cannot switch lanes until you reach the start-finish line, and then you're able to do so. A little bit of 3-wide action. Contact already.
Contact.
Motorsport to the side. Oh my goodness. No, that's not Motorsport. Excuse me. I believe that's the 0 of Todd, or Malik. Excuse me.
Bottles all over the back end of the 78. She's going to dive to the inside. The 4's going to go with her. That duo is back together again. Let's see how it works out.
I think we recognize who is working with who right now. The 78 has the 8 car, his teammate in tow. But oh wow! Look at Kyle, almost to the side of Motorsport once again. Very loose off the corner. Gathers it back up, but look what it does to that outside line.
Just slows them right down. I don't know if they fix that problem on that number 8 car, but hopefully they can get that fixed soon, because if they don't, that could cause a big wreck here pretty soon.
At the stripe, Chantel pushed by Dial, back out front. They've got their work cut out for them, Josh and Kyle, to get back up to the front. And excuse me, that's Motorsport, not by Dial.
Down the backstretch they run. The 01's going to dive to the outside with the 78 at his bumper to look for the front. He was running in the back of the pack earlier in the first stage. Now look, he's up here and trying to fight for the lead, going in turn 3.
Ooh, a little bit of a lag there. That's something you don't want to have happen as you're fighting for a championship. I think the 0-1 lagged, and it did momentarily drop that outside line way back behind Motorsport there. You can see the 0-1 trying to pick up the pace and get to the back bumper. The 8 car is going to force the issue, and he will get to the bottom of the racetrack.
The 4 car looked to the inside of the 5 car just momentarily down the front stretch, but as we were talking about them in turn 3 and 4 with that little bit of a lag, they had about a 4 car lineup there, so maybe if they didn't have that lag, they could have had a huge run coming up turn number 4 to the tri-oval.
How many laps in stage 2?
We got 10.
10, so even a shorter distance.
We're about to be on.
Ooh, contact between teammates right there.
Like I said, this is about a half a track ahead of us. The video's coming off turn 4. They're on the back stretch, so yeah, we're going to be on lap 4 of stage 2.
6 to go at the stripe. And Chantel, once again, leading this freight chain at over 200 miles an hour. 3 wide mid-pack.
Let's see who's rounding out the field way in the back here. It's going to be the 0 car. Kind of running out his own race. Whoa, the 8 car goes below the double yellow line. Dial's going to be forced to the outside. He's the only car out there. Looks like the 78's going to pick him up. Got a few people moving to the high side. Pottles moves to the high side. Now the 4 car is going to look to the inside to take the lead in turn 3.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure that might not have been planned right there. I know the 4 car. Oh, contact again. Dial, look at the outside. 78 of Josh.
Dive around. Woo. Man,
he did get into him, and the 20 of Dial now takes evasive action to the outside line. Here comes the 8 of Kyle Motorsport there up front, but I don't believe the other competitors are quite happy with him. He is not holding the line he needs to be in order to lead this pack. Very messy up front.
I was just surprised they made it through that without causing a big wreck. Whew. That could have been bad for a lot
Damien,
of
how hard is it to hold a line here at Talladega? I mean, it seems like it's simple, one of the easiest tracks that we go to, but yet we see people bouncing up in front. Why is it so difficult for these guys?
It's just because of how close they get in the air. Just the aerodynamics on these cars. As soon as you get to another car, it just makes that car just want to wiggle around. It just uncontrollable, irresistible feeling that you can't like save your car. You're always fighting the wheel. It's horrible.
Right now, we see teammates or the people that were working with one another, their Motorsport and Chantel, Kyle and Josh, they've all been separated. So right now, none of them has their respective teammate behind them. What do you think happens if we have that type of strategy late in this race?
I think everybody's just going to have to find somebody to compare with. I mean, the 4 car and the 5 car, whoa, a little bit of contact here in the backstretch. But as I was saying, everybody's going to have to find somebody to work with and see what happens. But so far, that 4 and the 5 car have been a pretty strong duo. The 78 and the 8 have been a pretty strong duo. And the 78's kind of fallen off and probably just running his own race right now behind this lead pack. Just going to wait it out and see what happens to the final stage.
Right now, Motorsport leads on the bottom of the racetrack. Kyle, though, getting antsy and probably checking his rear view mirror. You know, I always joke, I don't know why these guys don't have tear-offs on the back of the car, because I believe these guys are mirror driving way much more than they are looking out their front windshield.
Oh yeah, you spend most of your time here at Talladega mirror driving, even if it's in practice. You're watching six or 7 cars come out of turn 2 at you at 220 miles an hour, and you're a solo car. You're definitely going to be watching that line of cars where they're going.
On my stream right now, we were able to listen to the audio difference that the 8 car between the 8 who's running in second place versus the 5. You heard the 5 had to get off right there. You are on the accelerator a lot at Talladega, but one thing about this racetrack is that you're also on the brake here, trying not to get into the back bumper, because if you do, that could even cause a wreck.
Oh yeah, it's got to be split-second decisions. If you want to take the spot away from somebody, if the hole's there, you take it. If not, then don't force it. And if you do force it and you cause a wreck, well, then there goes your day.
Checking in with our Stage 1 winner. He's outside of the draft. He was caught up in a couple incidents in front of him and unable to hang on. Now he finds himself well outside of that lead draft here. Good news is he is running in the 6th position, still inside the top 10, and he will have a shot to get caught back up at the end of the stage. However,
Dial looking to the outside here in 3
if we had that at the end of stage 3, that's something that you cannot afford to have happen here with a championship on the line.
No, the 78 really is hoping for this stage caution to come here very soon so they can get that 78 car back up to the front, because he's very strong here today.
I believe we're coming to 1 to go.
I believe so, yes, or 2 to go here.
So next time by will be 1 to go. There, Danny, that 01 car, and Chantel. There's Dial looking, trying to make the high side great again, as I like to say. Look at the Motorsport trying to be shoved up the racetrack. Kyle trying to put him up there. They stick to the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes Danny in that 01 car.
Along with Pottles at his back bumper and Dial, so they got about a 3-car breakaway. Whoa, got some contact between the 8 and the 5
Chantel
and the 20. Woo.
Into the wall. Dial as well.
Looked
like Chantel tried to force the issue. I don't know if she was 3 wide, if she wanted to be particularly 3 wide. She had a good run to the inside of the 01 car and the 8 car, but there was no room. She wanted to probably let off right there, but Dial right behind there. It's very hard. You can't motion inside the race cars like you can in real life to let them know that, hey, I'm checking up right there. That could have been big.
Oh, yeah. I'm just lucky that Dial saved that car, because if he didn't save that, that car could have been done for the day.
Yeah, damage is on. Am I correct in assuming that?
Yes.
So that's just another factor as we have a move to the outside. Here comes Kyle. Push by the 01 at Danny.
Now,
Chantel sticks to the bottom of the racetrack with the 4.
But they're opposite this time than they were the last time they were hooked up. So the 4's in front of the 5. Here they come on of turn number 4. They're going to be coming to the stage finish, I do believe, or the white flag. Yes, we are coming to the white flag for stage 1, or stage 2.
Motorsport needs to hang on for one more lap.
Oh,
Oh, Kyle off the
line.
racetrack.
What a save.
That was the end of stage 1. Or excuse me, now I am doing it
Stage
stage
two.
2.
Okay, it was. I don't know why I thought there was an extra 11th lap. stage 1 got me. So we are coming to stage number 3, the final stage. The final stage is going to be all about the 5 car and the 78 for that final chance to win the championship. It's between the 5 and the 78. Who's it going to be? We'll find out here in the final stage.
Each one of them has been able to finish ahead of each other there. One in stage 1, the other in stage 2. But right now, this is where the money is on the line. Bragging rights, everything will be put to the test here, and our questions will finally be answered here with just, I believe, 26 laps remaining.
26 to maybe 27, maybe 28, roughly. We'll be seeing. We have some cars on pit road. We have pit road and then restart. So here we go. PTM's going to be on the outside, I do believe, for her first restart of all day today. So they come through the trioval to the Geico restart zone. And the green flag is out, and we're underway again for the final stage in Talladega.
Inside line. More cars has the advantage. 5 cars on the bottom, 3 cars up top. Chantel on the outside looking through a rearview mirror. Really no drafting help. You have that 8 car, but that's not really going to help her. In fact, they're going to hang her out to dry. She's going to go all the way from starting second to outside of the top 5, barely hanging on in 7th position. To the outside, here comes Danny with help from Dial.
And Motorsport in that 4 car looking very strong here today. They had a bit of a tough race in Dover 2 weeks ago.
Oh, contact! 89 and 01. Danny's in the wall. Here comes Dial, the big one erupting. The 78 car into the wall. Caution.
The 5 saved it. How did she make it through that?
And excuse me, was that that was the 8? So our first caution of the day on a restart there. And that was big contact for the 8 car. He will need to repair that.
Yes,
not exactly what you want to see. A great move by Chantel to avoid that after being collected. And, oh my goodness, that all goes to that restart there, that outside line. It basically dissipated. Nothing was allowed for her. That's something you have to keep in mind. If we get a late race restart, you don't want to be in that outside lane.
No, you really do not. It looks like she made it through unscathed, no damage. Her car looks all good. Maybe a little bit of front nose damage on the hood. But I don't see anything that should hurt that 5 car, so I feel like she's all good and ready to roll for this restart.
78 car stayed out. Was running second.
We're back underway here for the restart of stage number 3. A little bit of contact from the 0 car. He's up here to a decent rebound. But as you said before, that outside lane does not seem to prevail very good on the restarts.
Not at all. Our 2 championship competitors running opposite ends of the spectrum. Up front, 78 car controls this race. Chantel trying to get back up there. In the 89, separates the teammates of Kyle and Josh as they head into turn number 3.
We're about to come to lap 33 here. 56 in Talladega, and Dial's going to drop to the back of the field. PTM's all over the back bumper of the 01. The 4 of Motorsport goes to the outside.
Will these guys need to make a pit stop?
I don't believe so. I believe everybody should be able to make it. We may see 1 green flag pit stop if needed. But other than that, I think if everybody just pitted, I think everyone should be good.
Be able to go the distance here. 89 up front. That's the first time we've seen that here today. pushed by the 8. Wow, look at Josh. With that leading this race just one lap ago. That's how quickly things can change here at Talladega on the bottom of the racetrack. Had to gather it back up with the 8 car. That little bit of damage sustained earlier from that wreck not bothering him right now. He's trying to get that pointed in the right direction.
And now look at your 2 championship contenders. They have swapped spots again. The 78's dropping back, and here comes the 5 making a rebound.
Man, one of my favorite quotes from Mike Joy: as the lap counter goes down, the pulse rate goes up.
That is very true. Look at Pottles, going to take it 3 wide down the backstretch with a slide draft on the 8. Doesn't pull it off. The 98's going to be left out to dry. Looks like the 78's going to go pick him up on the outside. Dial's going to go with him, so they're going to get a 3-car, maybe 4-car breakaway for the outside lane. Nope, the 01's going to dive back inside, and they're going to leave the 98 out to dry.
Right now, I can't tell you how important it is to be patient, Damian. We know if you're one of these championship contenders, if you finish ahead of your competitor, you've won the championship. There's no need to try and force the issue. So, with that in mind, does Santel just ride it out right here, or does he go for the win?
I think she's going to try to go for the win, but if she can, she's going to try to beat that 78. I'm not surprised that you don't see these guys just drop out of the lead pack here and just race each other for the championship. To save their equipment and not worry about the big one, because things are going to get antsy up here with this front few. These guys that are just trying to get the win and not fight for this championship.
What's interesting is that Kyle leads this race right now, and that is a pivotal teammate that the 78 car needs, perhaps a spot as well. So does the 8 car drop to the back of the pack and help his teammate right there?
I think he might, but the only problem with that, if he does drop back to help his teammate, he's going to leave the 5 car out to lead the field for the rest of the race. So that could change hands for the 78 too.
And so if you're Santel and you're pushing his teammate, you know exactly where he is on the racetrack. I'm thinking, hey, I'm going to settle in for second.
Exactly. If you know his teammate's in front of you and you know that your opponent for the championship sits near the back of the lead pack, you don't really have much to worry about. Oh, it looks like she made some contact with the 8. That's going to allow the 4 to get underneath her. No, the 4's going to follow her, as they have been all day. We're getting a little antsy here between 3 and 4.
3 wide.
3 wide.
Second place, 2 rows deep.
Goodness. They're still 3 wide off of turn number 4. 2 rows deep.
8 car trying to figure out what lane to block.
And Pottle's going to pick up
and one car is shoved down pit road.
78 all over the back.
Oh, contact! They save it.
Here's what we were talking about, how one little thing from one person is going to change this whole field. Because look, here's the 78. He was running in the back of this lead pack about 3 or 4
off
laps
the racing surface.
And now here he is sitting in 3rd, racing his teammate for 2nd down the backstretch.
Motorsport gathered it up. That was a good run, but we have a change for the lead. Santel back up front, but the 2 team cars, the 8 and the 78, are right behind her. That's something you probably don't want to see in your rearview mirror coming to the white flag.
No, that is not something you want to see when you're coming out of turn number 4 with the race lead, and you know that those 2 have been strong all day together, and I don't think you want to see that. She's going to have to fight off these guys big time.
I like what I'm seeing, though. You know, if you're going to win the championship, you want to go all out. You want to know that you ran going out your best and had the best race yet you could. You don't want to ride around. That's not deserving for the fans. I like the mentality that the 5 car is presenting, but right now, she's in control of getting that championship. However, that her competitor, Josh, not far behind. And look at him move to the outside.
On the outside. Here they go.
You know, Danny
kind of left out to dry.
Danny
is going to pick her up.
Might be an unaffiliated teammate, but he's going to try and help those guys up to the outside. 8 car Kyle switches lanes. Actually leaves his teammate hanging. That was surprising. Wow. He takes the lead.
And then he
picks
goes
him
back
up
there to pick him up again.
But now that outside line has dissipated by the time he made that move. There are no cars with him. And the inside line prevails again at the stripe.
Pottles back out to the lead again. This doesn't surprise me, man. That bottom lane is the way to go today. 78's gonna.
That did not work out. We know Dial has been working well with Santel, and Motorsport has also. So right now you have 3 cars working on that inside line before you get to Danny and Kyle, as well as Josh, who needs to be in front of the 5 of Santel to win this race and win this championship.
Everybody's kind of single file right now. I think they're going to just run it out for a few minutes and then see what happens. But right now, I think everybody's just going to ride along and then let it play out to the final couple laps here. I don't think we'll see anything too drastic, but if anybody gets a run, then I think we might see the 78 and the 8 go outside, because they know that 78 wants to win this championship.
These blocks are going to be a lot bigger here as the day goes on.
Oh,
look at that right there. The 8 car, Kyle and Danny made contact.
and that could break up this field big time. So if the 78 loses his teammate in the 8 car, then he might not have a chance to get to the front. So I don't really know if anybody else is going to work with him to help him.
Santel continuing to lead in front of Dial. Motorsport settling in the the 3rd position. Kyle right now, right behind his teammate Josh. They run 4th and 5th. Then you have Malik, I believe, in that 89. Rounding out top 7. Koch was in that 0 car, was shoved down pit road. He will need a caution flag to get caught back up. It is a 7-car battle up front. Any one of these guys still can win it. How many laps to go?
We're 41 laps in.
54, so that tells me about 13 laps. And I'm not quite so sure that these guys can make it all the way on fuel.
Yeah, now that I've noticed the amount of time they spent on the track, these tires got to be wearing out, and they're running low on fuel right now. So everybody's going to be probably getting ready to come down pit road. And then it's all based on pit strategy and whose team can get them out the fastest.
So the money stop coming up here, and Talladega, notorious. We always see a wreck getting on the pit road here. When you're in a pack like this, how do you warn when you're going down pit road?
That's going to be a tough one. I think we'll see a couple of guys probably dive below the double yellow line and give them, hey, a heads up, hey, pass underneath it a couple times and be like, hey, this is my shot at going down pit road. Whoa, a little bit of contact back here in the back of the pack. Looks like they sorted it all out, but as I was saying, I think we may see a couple people dive below the yellow line a couple times and be like, hey, I'm getting ready to
I think they might be coming in this time by. See them spreading out. Watching. And nope.
No takers. Wow, well, look at that. The 78 and the 8 are back together on the outside. And they're moving
but that
strong
outside line is so tough with 2 race cars versus 2. You almost need a 3rd car. You really need a 3rd car on the outside line to really make that pass work. 78 car thought
4 cars.
Wanted to do it, just wasn't able to get it done. And you see them fall back once again. Valiant effort, but it's not going to pay off, at least right now.
Yeah, they still got some time, so they can try to toy with them and be like, hey, we're going to come out to your outside, get to your doors here in the front row, and then be like, we're going to drop right back and watch you guys, run it out for a couple laps, and then we're going to mess with you again and come right back at you. I think right now it's just a little bit of mind games with that 78 and the 5 car.
You mentioned how the blockings are going to get bigger. Talk about that side draft. What are you trying to do in the race car here when you're trying to get to the side of somebody?
You're trying to just close in on them a little bit, not too much where you hit them. You're just trying to take the air off the side and slow them down a little bit so you can get on by without any problems. But I don't know if we've seen really a lot of that today. I mean, we haven't seen really a lot of side drafting here unless you're racing for the front. But other than that, we haven't really seen it today.
That 4 car looked like he was either having some lag issues or extremely loose in that set of corners right there. If I'm the 78, I'm taking note of that. When you're in a pack like this and you run loud and you're logging laps, you're making mental notes as the driver of who works well with you and who doesn't. Right now, we see them going down pit road.
Looks like we got some takers. The 78 and the 8 are
Hopefully
coming down
they can
pit
get it
road.
in. They need not the speed right here, and you see they brought in Danny. 3 cars. That should be enough to at least minimize any type of gain those 4 cars that are driving right now including Santel, would have.
And that was also probably a team strategy right there between the 78 and the 8. They were probably telling their spotter, hey, tell the 78, come with us. We're going pit road this lap. And they were at the back of the pack right there, that lead pack, so they were easily able to drop out and go down pit road. It looks like these front 4 cars are going to single file up and get ready to come down pit road themselves.
8 car got out in front of the 78. 78 still on pit road. Did the 78 get a penalty? There was a very lengthy stop on that machine. We'll check back on that. Meanwhile, the leaders are up front. You need not to speed. Oh, Dial gets into Santel. Santel spins. Santel's in the inside wall hard. Santel with major damage. Off the bumper of the 20.
Time in pit road.
We talk about the accident that takes out competitors here while pitting at Talladega. It just happened to our one championship contender. Wow, Santel, major damage to the front end of that Camaro.
The 8 car has some front end damage here. Did he make some contact with somebody in pit road? Does anybody have any idea on that?
I don't know, but our top story right now continues to focus on the 5 car Santel. She was bumped out of the way by Dial. Dial may have just cost her a championship.
And the 78 and the 8 are coming on to turn number 4, so they're getting ready to gain some positions here. If Pottles gets out of pit road now, she should still be able to keep up with that lead pack. If not,
she is.
So will we see?
But she doesn't gonna have the momentum. We're riding along with her right now, but you have 3 team cars working well, another plus the damage car of her. I don't think it's gonna be enough. This could be the pass for a championship to the outside. They do it, cleared. 5 of Santel behind Josh. Josh to the top of the board.
Down the back stretch with about 10 laps left to go, maybe 9 laps left to go here in Talladega. That could be the story of the race right there. The move of the race from the 78, pitting early. And then the other story of the race could be the mistake from Dial and Pottles making contact here.
We were riding along with her when that happened. It looked like Dial perhaps just didn't get on the brakes soon enough, just got into the back of her. It looked like Santel saw that, tried to take that energy from the 20 car. She knew she was about to get hit, tried to point it to the inside wall to avoid 1, speeding, and 2, slowing that car down. But in doing so, she hit the inside wall hard, and now that 5 car well outside of the draft. You see Dial trying to go back perhaps and aid that race car, but right now Danny, Kyle, and Josh's, their pit road strategy worked to perfection. Unless we have a late race caution, I don't think these guys can catch them.
Me neither. I think the 78 has clinched this title now, but we could see a late race caution. It doesn't surprise me because it happens here at Talladega. Anything is possible here in these final laps.
Danny now pushed to the outside. This is the battle for the lead. Motorsport on the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes Danny on the outside with help from Kyle. Jeesh on that outside line as well. 3 cars trying to clear the 4. They'll do so at the stripe. Coming to less than 10 to go.
Pottles here closing into the 20 of Dial, so maybe if they had another car to help them, they could really get up here.
I don't know. There's still some significant distance. Look at the gap between the 4 and the 20 right now. Ooh! Kyle and Josh. Wow! Motorsport to the outside wall because of that move. Well, now the 4 car has no choice but to perhaps go and help the 20 and the 5. But these guys, they could be on cruise control. If your team, I don't think you're going to let anything else happen as far as trying to race amongst themselves. I think they're just going to try and stay away.
Hopefully
Danny, Kyle, and Josh. I've talked to these guys numerous times. These guys are the best of buds. They are always racing, razzing one another. But right now, when it came to working together on the racetrack, they played that perfectly. It looked like the 78 car had some extra time on pit road. They were able to, what would you say, they stopped and waited for him, and it allowed them to draft back together. And then with the mistake on pit road made by the 5 and the 20, they were able to capitalize on it.
That is very true. That is good strategy from those guys. They actually, I think they planned that out pretty well. They probably planned that about 5 laps before they even decided to pit to get that to work to perfection.
Right now, you see the 4 car has been brought back to the attention of the 20 and the 5 working together. But will it be enough? How many laps to go toward the end of this one.
We're coming to lap 50 now, so we have a little over 6 laps left.
And that's got to be heartbreaking. I know Dial didn't mean that, but that mistake really cost Chantel a championship. They had that race perhaps in the bag. All they needed to do was get on pit road. We talked about that during that stage, how we always see an accident getting on here. It happened to the most unlikely competitor. She was dominant. Oh my goodness, this is almost like her story at Homestead with the Metal on Metal Racing League.
Very hard.
And this time, the guy that beat her that night took her out, and not in the best way.
That's got to be really heartbreaking for her, but hopefully they can move on from that.
Oh my goodness! Wow, the 8 car and the 78 made contact. Oh, look at Danny! Danny's through on the inside. Oh my goodness! They don't need to have that happen. Danny gathers it back up, slides, and now that first pack breaks apart. And that allows the 4, the 20, and the 5 to get closer ahead to that lead pack.
Yes, they're reeling them in. If they can catch the draft of the 01 car, they should be able to reel in those front 3.
If I'm the 8, right now I'm looking behind. I see that the 78 is right behind me. Do I allow the 78 to pass me and try and protect? Or are you thinking about the win here if you're Kyle?
If you're Kyle, I think you're going for the win. Your teammates just got to finish second to you and win the championship. I think I'd go for the win. That way your teammate gets the trophy, the championship trophy, and you get the race trophy.
They slowed down, but look at the distance. It's been cut in half, and right now that 78 car keeps poking out a line. That's really slowing that that lead pack down. Danny on the outside as well. Meanwhile, the 20 pushes the 4, and the 5 is Chantel trying to stay in tow.
I think Pottles dropped back a little bit to maybe gain some extra speed, pull in the draft a little bit, but maybe something's wrong with that car. Could it be
we know that car was heavily damaged. I don't know exactly how much damage she was able to fix. They have made up some significant time, but she needs to be right on the back bumper of the 20 car in order to capitalize. How many laps to go coming to the stripe?
Coming to lap 53 here.
Less than 4 laps remaining. 53, yes, 4 to go.
There's 4 laps for that second pack to catch these front 3. And Pottles, all she's got to do is get to the 78, who sits in second. So that's all she's got to do.
They have been able to sniff the draft. They have caught that 01 car. It's not a question of if now, but when. Right now, these guys are on the bottom of the racetrack. Right now, they are reconnected unbelievably. This second pack has been able to cut. Look at Danny to the outside contact. In the wall goes Danny.
Pottles below the double yellow line.
Dial as well. Now the blocks are going to get humongous. Coming to 3 to go at the stripe.
The 5 is right behind the 78, so we got 3 laps to go here in Talladega. Can she pass him? Will she wreck him to win the championship?
Unbelievably. No doubt in that 5 team at all. Trying to overcome adversity. Dial right behind her. All could be forgiven here.
Could he help her to win the championship? Maybe she'll forgive him and have him come to the after party.
They're going to have a lap car to deal with right now, and that could play a factor into who wins this race and who wins this championship.
Where's that lap car going to go? Is he going to stay low or is he going to go high?
Right now, the 78 needs to be focused on one thing and one thing only. That is stay to the back bumper of that 8 car, but Chantel is ready to capitalize if a mistake is inbound. Wow. Coming to what, 2 to go or 1 to go?
2 to go.
Less than 6 miles remain for a championship. 89 to the outside. Here comes Chantel trying to use that car as a pick.
Could it cost her?
She lost the position right there to Dial. Here comes to the outside. Wow, the 8 car made a move. Dial now pushed to the outside, and Chantel goes to the bottom of the racetrack. She now pushes her competitor to the lead.
3 wide down the backstretch into turn 3. Pottles to the lead.
If Pottles can win this race, I will eat my hat right now. Grandma, put your teeth back in. This is going to be a big one. Zero car spins in front of the field, able to gather it back up. We stay green. They'll
Down
face the
stretch,
white flag this
They're
time
side
by.
side. Through the triangle to the white flag.
Right in front of the 8. Dial pushing the 5 of Chantel.
1 lap to go.
This is for a championship. Josh on the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes Kyle trying to defend. Chantel is there. This has got to be the most perfect lap of Josh's life.
Down the backstretch they go. Here comes Pottles with the 20 of Dial on the outside. The 98, the lap car, helping those 3 on the outside. Could that help her through 3 and 4?
Wow, 78 went to block contact and in the wall. There goes the 8 car of Kyle. Trying to slice and dice. Lap car takes out the 8. Here comes Chantel. To the bottom of the racetrack. 3 wide. Do they use the bumper side by side? A drag race. Chantel and Geese. Chantel is going to do it. Against all odds at the stripe. Barely. She clips the 78 car by inches. She wins the championship because of it.
And Dial's going to get the win. What an amazing comeback for the 20 team.
That girl is the girl right there. Chantel against all odds. I'm telling you, what an unbelievable comeback story by that 5 car.
When we all thought it was over, when she got into the inside wall, going into the pit stop, that last green flag run, man, she came back and showed us all love. She's got to be going ecstatic in that race car right now.
Push came to shove right there. They were 3 wide coming to the stripe. You saw them side by side. She was able to get to the outside, or excuse me, the outside of Dial, but the inside of Josh, and that was all she needed, threading the needle to a championship. Congratulations to PTM's Chantel Pottles, your winner here of the championship.
And then Dial makes a great rebound after last week's ISM race not having a good, strong run, so he goes back to get in the victory lane.
I'm speechless. It takes a lot to get me eating hats in the booth, and I'm going to have to eat mine because that was an unbelievable finish. Heartbreak for the 78 car. Looked like he had it. He had it in the bag. That group, all they needed to do was run their P's and Q's, but that contact that sent Danny to the inside wall really started their demise, and you see the end result.
Yeah, that's just heartbreaking for those guys. They were strong all day and could fight for the championship, and then one little mistake at the end cost them the championship.
Well, actually, I'm being